Hey guys, so the development in the Kawhi story today, I'm sure you've seen it by now. ESPN, and only ESPN, by the way, nobody else has reported this, drops an article saying basically the Clippers got off pretty much scot-free. The NBA bowed down to the billionaires, they bowed down to Steve Ballmer, and that's it. Adam Silver is a joke. Well, that's not the wording that they use, but it's the one that I would use. But then the NBA spokesperson comes out, like, I don't know, 30 minutes later saying, no, actually, investigation's not done. There's inaccuracies in the article and all that stuff. And once again, I will say, only ESPN has reported this. Nobody else has. Any other publication at the time of me doing this is article about this. So we're saying CBS Sports, The Athletic, and by proxy, the New York Times. Their article just says that ESPN put out a report and the NBA pushed back on it. Now, to be clear, I do not think very highly of Adam Silver right now. And so it would not surprise me at all if this still ended up being the outcome. Also, this whole idea of like the NBA and the Clippers are negotiating an outcome, what the hell is that? They circumvented the cap, bro. What are we negotiating for? I mean, I know what it is. It's because they want to not get into legal stuff with Steve Ballmer, but it's like Steve Ballmer can go F himself. And also, if I may, if the only way to quote unquote prove cap circumvention is for it to be the Joe Smith situation, where there was like literal writing that said this is our plan, then it's way too easy to circumvent the salary cap. Speaking of which, we'll see if the Bucks get dinged for the Gary Trent Jr. contract. If a guy's name being written all over the team's sponsorships for sponsors that he didn't actually uphold his end of the bargain for isn't circumvention, then what the hell is? Like, this is very different than team just introduces guy to sponsor and then backs out of it. And in case it wasn't obvious where I stand on this thing, I think the hammer should be dropped on the Clippers. I think if it isn't, and you don't take away a whole bunch of draft picks and you don't have a huge fine, and I mean, I would be okay with Steve Ballmer being forced to sell the team, but I don't think that one would actually happen. If it doesn't happen, then you're just sending a message to the rest of the league of like, yeah, you guys can just do whatever you want. We don't care. I mean, the Wolves ended up losing 3 picks in the Joe Smith scandal. 5 were initially taken away. They got 2 back. This is worse than that. So more than 3 picks at the least. That's the only way you can put the fear in the rest of the league of you can't do this. You take away a whole bunch of picks. And also voiding of the contract, yes. So pretty much for what happened today, maybe it's that ESPN is a joke and they just jumped to the gun on an article that nobody else is backing up. At the time of me doing this, maybe it's the NBA just cowering in fear to Steve Ballmer and all of his millions of dollars, or billions of dollars, I should say. And I have no sympathy for Steve Ballmer if you can't figure that out. And I'm not a fan of Adam Silver nowadays with the NBA being in bed with gambling companies, and well, that's the big one for me. And so I'm really not trying to like step off the NBA's neck for this whole thing. Like, if this is pretty much the result of the investigation, then Adam Silver can go F himself. And from here on out, any contract that gets agreed anywhere, you can just assume that there's some like backdoor sponsorship thing happening for a player or whatever. But to uphold some sense of professionalism, I don't know, I'm just a dude talking into a microphone. I will just say, ESPN put out an article, nobody else has put one out similar to it, and the NBA pushed back on it. So in the meantime, we're just kind of waiting, but I'm not a fan of anybody involved in this whole thing. Anyway, shout out to Pablo Torre. Look forward to more stuff. He says he's got more stuff coming.